Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The family Chantel, 10 reasons Pedro Jimeno should have counted his blessings and stayed with Chantel Everett. The breakup was a bad move. Sooner or later, Pedro Jimeno from the family Chantel may regret ending his relationship with Chantel Everett. He was in his mid-20s when he met Chantel, a Georgia native, through a mutual friend. Pedro was charmed by Chantel's personality and soon entered a relationship with her. Within a few months of dating, Pedro made the decision to marry Chantel and move to the United States. He invited Chantel to the Dominican Republic, and she applied for his K-1 visa upon returning to the United States. Pedro and Chantel appeared in 90 Day Fiancé Season 4 to televise their romantic journey. Pedro and Chantel initially faced many challenges. Chantel didn't inform her family that she had invited Pedro to the United States on a K-1 visa, leading to drama later. Fortunately, Pedro's in-laws didn't escalate the situation. Although they were skeptical of Pedro's intentions, they welcomed him into the family. Pedro and Chantel tied the knot in 90 Day Fiancé Season 4 and seemed to be starting off well due to shared goals. They even secured a spin-off, The Family Chantel, which featured their adventures, arguments, and family drama. Pedro and Chantel seemed to be a good match, but their family issues caused their marriage to fall apart. In 2022, Pedro started to distance himself from Chantel, causing her great pain. He confessed that he no longer loved her and wanted out of the marriage so he could focus on his new job as a real estate agent. Pedro made it clear that he had no intentions of trying to salvage their relationship. In The Family Chantel Season 4, Pedro asked Chantel for a divorce. He quickly moved on, showing he was happier being single. His family members, specifically his mother, Lydia Morel, and his sister, Nicole Jimeno, were the root causes of constant family drama. Both women were always involved in every argument that unfolded on the show. Pedro's marriage suffered because Lydia and Nicole never accepted Chantel. The mother-daughter duo treated Chantel poorly, showing hostility towards her. They even verbally disrespected Chantel, pushing her to retaliate with the same negativity. If Pedro had been wise, he would have realized that Chantel was never the instigator. Instead, Lydia and Nicole sparked fights and created a negative atmosphere. Karen treated Pedro as if he were her own son, even embracing him after a public meltdown, showing him her unwavering support. Chantel's father, Thomas Everett, also played a patriarchal role by offering advice, knowledge, and experience. Chantel's siblings, Winter and River Everett, welcomed Pedro into the family. Unfortunately, Pedro's sister didn't treat Chantel well. Pedro's recent Instagram posts suggest that he feels lonely in the United States, a feeling that may be alleviated if he still had the support of his in-laws. Pedro may soon regret breaking up with Chantel because she was truly committed to him. While most people desire a trustworthy partner, not everyone is fortunate enough to have a significant other who is dedicated to them. Pedro was very fortunate to have someone like Chantel, who put a lot of effort into the relationship. She went above and beyond to make their marriage successful. Not only did Chantel pay for Pedro's visa and other expenses, but she also supported him in becoming independent in the United States. She even visited her unsupportive mother-in-law when Pedro backed out of the marriage. Pedro may never be able to find a wife as kind and caring as Chantel. In The Family Chantel Season 4, Pedro accused Chantel of being lazy and uninspired, claiming she lacked the determination to achieve success and therefore was incompatible with him. As of December 2024, Chantel has become more successful than ever before. She is now an independent nurse at a luxury cosmetic clinic, showcasing her hard-working nature and passion for her job by sharing content online. Chantel's achievements disprove Pedro's negative assessment of her and suggest that his criticisms may have stemmed from feeling deserving of someone better. If Pedro had given Chantel a chance, he would likely have a successful wife by his side today, fulfilling the partnership he believed he needed most. Over the last 2 years, Pedro has been unsuccessful in finding a suitable partner. He also failed to impress his longtime friend, Corema Morla, who has chosen another man over him. Now that Pedro has been single for a while, it's time for him to realize that Chantel is his best partner. She not only brought him to the United States, but she also supported him for years. If it weren't for Chantel, Pedro wouldn't have been able to fulfill his American dream. If Pedro had kept Chantel by his side, he would have been even more successful than he is today. He would have achieved bigger goals with his wife's and her family's support. Pedro would be far more notable if he had remained with Chantel. On his own, he is a real estate agent based in Georgia with a limited portfolio. He's simply a 90-day fiancé alum with no current TV presence. However, if Pedro had stayed with Chantel, his success, popularity, and relevance would have been much greater. Together, Pedro and Chantel were an iconic couple, even having their own reality TV show. If they had stayed together, they would still be just as famous. They would have a yearly show, a large fan following, and a great number of opportunities. They would be more well-known than other couples from the show, such as Lauren and Alexei Brovarnik or David Taborowski and Annie Suwin. Pedro's recent social media posts suggest that he's experiencing financial difficulties. He recently hinted that he couldn't visit his in the Dominican Republic because of the expensive airfare. Additionally, Pedro posted a photo of the new Audi car, implying that he can't afford it. Now that Pedro's facing financial challenges, he may be realizing what he lost by divorcing Chantel. He not only lost a wife or in-laws but also the opportunity for a better married life in the United States. The couple had acquired many assets together, including a beautiful home and a joint bank account. If Pedro had remained with Chantel, he would likely have more money now. The way Pedro broke up with Chantel damaged his public image. He started by abruptly ending their marriage, cutting off communication and causing Chantel to feel depressed. After months of emotional torment, Pedro escalated to accusing Chantel of laziness, starting arguments, and becoming angry when she tried to resolve issues. He became increasingly cold towards Chantel, hurting her and undermining her efforts for him. Ultimately, he asked for a divorce. His actions turned many viewers against him, permanently tarnishing his image. Although years have passed since Pedro's split from Chantel, he continues to receive negative remarks and hateful comments on his posts. Despite being single for years, many fans still believe Pedro cheated on Chantel, with some speculating that he slept with his boss to climb the corporate ladder. These cheating rumors have greatly diminished Pedro's chances of finding a good partner in the future. They have also encouraged fans to leave negative reviews on his business profile, affecting ratings. Pedro hasn't been able to clear his name, and the situation may prevent him from ever doing so. Pedro's father abandoned him at a young age, showing little concern for Pedro's mother, Lydia, and only focusing solely on himself. In a previous interview, Lydia revealed that Pedro's father left her with no choice, stating, "I remember that their father went back to his wife, and I didn't want to live a life like that, of a life of loneliness." Right? Pedro's unresolved issues with his father likely contributed to his self-centered behavior, causing him to mirror his father's actions more than he would have liked. Pedro disrespected his marriage by prioritizing himself, leaving Chantel, and breaking the vows. Instead of attempting to resolve the marital issues, the family Chantel alum took the easy way out, following his father's footsteps. The family Chantel, 10 Reasons Pedro Jimeno should have counted his blessings and stayed with Chantel Everett. The breakup was a bad move. Pedro Jimeno's dramatic exit from the family Chantel sent shockwaves through the reality TV world. His decision to leave Chantel Everett, after years of ups and downs, seemed to many like a catastrophic move, one that would haunt him in ways he couldn't foresee. The world watched as their once passionate relationship crumbled, and the emotional fallout was felt not only by the couple but also by their families, who were deeply intertwined in their lives. Many viewers were left wondering whether Pedro truly understood the gravity of his decision to end his marriage. Was he blinded by temporary frustrations, or did he fail to recognize the true value of what he had in Chantel? Here are 10 compelling reasons why Pedro Jimeno should have counted his blessings and stayed with Chantel Everett. 1. Chantel's loyalty was unmatched. Throughout their marriage, Chantel stood by Pedro's side, demonstrating an unwavering loyalty that is rare to find. Whether it was supporting him in his immigration struggles or helping him build a life in the United States, Chantel was always there for him. Pedro, on the other hand, seemed to overlook this key aspect of their relationship. Chantel didn't just see him as a husband, she saw him as a partner, someone she was willing to weather storms for. The love and commitment she showed were something Pedro should have appreciated more before deciding to walk away. 2. Chantel's family was a strong support system. Pedro might have found Chantel's family overwhelming at times, but he often underestimated how crucial they were in her life. The Everett family offered a sense of stability and support that Pedro lacked in his own life. They were never afraid to speak their minds and always wanted what was best for Chantel, even if it meant standing in the way of her happiness in certain moments. These people were fiercely protective of Chantel, and by leaving her, Pedro distanced himself from a support system that could have helped him navigate life's challenges, both personally and professionally. 3. The financial stability was real. Chantel brought stability to their relationship in more ways than one. While Pedro was focused on building his career and securing his future, Chantel worked tirelessly to ensure that their household was well taken care of. She didn't just bring love into the relationship, she contributed financially, providing a level of stability that Pedro arguably took for granted. Leaving someone who was not only emotionally supportive but also financially stable is a risky move, especially when entering uncharted territory on your own. 4. Chantel's determination and ambition. Chantel might not have always had the same career drive as Pedro, but she was undoubtedly an ambitious woman in her own right. Whether she was studying to further her education or trying to make a name for herself in the world of business, Chantel's determination was one of the pillars of their marriage. Pedro should have realized that her ambition wasn't just for herself, it was for the future they were supposed to build together. He missed the opportunity to harness that drive and build a better future side by side with someone who was genuinely invested in their success. 5. Pedro's family drama would have been easier with Chantel. Pedro's tumultuous relationship with his family in the Dominican Republic was one of the recurring storylines on The Family Chantel. By staying with Chantel, Pedro would have had the emotional and mental support to navigate these strained relationships in a healthier way. Chantel might have been a bit overbearing at times, but her presence could have offered Pedro the emotional strength to mend bridges with his family without resorting to drastic measures, like distancing himself from Chantel. Had he stuck with her, the situation could have been handled with more maturity, bringing healing to all parties involved. 6. The emotional investment was strong. Pedro and Chantel shared deep emotional investments in one another. Despite the occasional tension and fights, they had a connection that many couples would envy. Pedro was willing to fight for their marriage at one point, and Chantel reciprocated with equal passion. It's not easy to find a love so strong, and yet Pedro walked away from it. A breakup is often an impulsive decision, made in the heat of an argument or a moment of frustration. By leaving Chantel, Pedro severed an emotional tie that might have been the most genuine thing in his life. 7. Chantel could have helped Pedro achieve his dreams. While Pedro may have felt like his dreams were unattainable with Chantel by his side, he failed to realize that Chantel was someone who could have helped him achieve those dreams. She wasn't just a wife, she was a partner who supported him in his professional ambitions. From his aspirations in real estate to his desire for financial independence, Chantel's support could have helped him overcome many obstacles. Breaking up with her meant giving up a constant cheerleader, someone who wanted nothing more than to see him succeed. 8. The public image was a reflection of their journey together. The family Chantel has been a roller coaster for both Pedro and Chantel, but it also helped the couple develop a public image that was a reflection of their journey together. People watched them grow and evolve, sometimes painfully, but they always saw the spark of genuine affection between them. If Pedro had stayed with Chantel, they could have presented a united front, continuing their journey as a beloved couple on reality television. Instead, his decision to leave has tainted their image, leaving fans disappointed and questioning what went wrong. 9. The love they had was real. Despite the ups and downs, there was a tangible love between Pedro and Chantel that was hard to ignore. Sure, there were heated arguments and tough moments, but at its core, their relationship had a foundation of genuine affection. For Pedro to walk away from something real, something built on years of memories, was a choice he might regret. Love doesn't always look perfect, and sometimes it's about weathering the rough patches together rather than giving up on each other when times get tough. 10. There was potential for growth. One of the greatest things that relationships can offer is the potential for growth as individuals and as a couple. Pedro and Chantel had the potential to grow, evolve, and improve their bond over time. They had already faced significant challenges, and while they were far from perfect, they had learned to navigate their differences. By choosing to stay together, they could have continued that growth, perhaps overcoming the obstacles that seemed insurmountable at the time. But by breaking up, Pedro closed the door to that opportunity, leaving both him and Chantel to wonder what could have been. In conclusion, while Pedro Jimeno might have believed that leaving Chantel Everett was the right choice for him, the decision was ultimately short-sighted. The many blessings he had in his relationship with Chantel, her loyalty, her unwavering support, and the love they shared were things that not everyone finds in a lifetime. His decision to walk away from someone who was genuinely invested in his success, happiness, and well-being was a move that could have serious long-term consequences. If only he had recognized the value of what he had and counted his blessings, the future might have looked very different for Pedro and Chantel.